Live. Okay, we've been live for 20 seconds. Hello,
Yeah,
everyone, if you're joining in.
happy
Excuse my
Valentine's
voice.
to the
Excuse
crazy
my voice.
people who are not dating somewhere. But that's I think the best time for self love and to be with ourselves and love ourselves.
Fantastic.
Valentine's.
Happy,
Yeah.
happy Valentine's, everyone that is joining. I don't know if much people will join today because of it's Happy Valentine's. We're going to be looking at two coaches that want to go talk about coaching today, right? But
Unless
anyways,
they
we're here and we
wanna
want to
get in
share some
trouble,
value.
unless they want to get in trouble with their wives. Uh, I know you're a risky one, so you like it, but other people, I don't know.
Okay, so today we're going to be talking about the challenges that new and experienced coaches face as they develop their own career, and what are the different things that we face as coaches, right? To with the purpose of showing a little more humanity into the coaching profession, and people out there that are looking for a coach can understand that we are also human beings. We're not Superman, just because we're a coach doesn't mean that we are the experts on whatever it is that you're working with. More so, maybe we're experts in how to get you to get the most potential out of your own expertise. And see, that is something that sometimes has a conflictive perspective or point of view between coachees or clients that are looking for a coach that will understand them, right? And also coaches, as how do they show up? Do they show up as a humble human being that also has feelings and is not Superman, right? Or do they show up as the oh Superman ever powerful can solve every problem? What do you think, Matan?
Definitely think that the humanity piece is very, very important. I think client can really feel your energy. You can feel the energy that you come into the call. And I've been to therapists in the past or coaches in the past where you tell them something and they don't listen to you. They interrupt you and they don't really let you express yourself. Versus someone you know who understand that they don't know everything. I think it's like those people who are humble are the people who understand that they don't know everything, and they're able to listen more and be more humble. And I think as a coach and as a client, the client feel more heard and can feel more safe around someone who is really humble and someone who is show as a real person and not someone who is, as you said, a superhero and never does mistakes or anything like that. So yeah, it's super, super
Exactly.
important.
I completely coincide with you. One thing that I love about my career as a coach for the past 20 years now is every time I meet a new person, right? And every time I'm in a coaching session, even with clients of mine that have been working with me for years, every single session, I'm able to discover a whole new universe from a new person. And that humbles me so much because there's so many perspectives of life out there. And just to be able to be in the presence of a complete new, different universe is fantastic. And every day after a session, I say to myself, I know nothing. Everything I thought I knew, I really don't know. There's so much. Every single human being is a whole different universe. So, what do we do as coaches when we face a different universe every time we meet a client, right?
Right. So yeah, tell us, how do you come to it? What's your approach to, maybe you know that when you meet with a person, it's a whole different universe. So how you open and get into their universe?
I think the purpose of coaching, or the way that I've practiced coaching, the basic principle that guides me to be present and coach my clients is number one, understanding that I am present for my client. I'm in full service. So myself as an individual and my wantings or my feelings or my choices are out of the question. And once I am in full service, then the task is to become everything that my client doesn't want to see and everything that my client doesn't want to listen to, so that he can get to wherever he wants to go, and do it from a perspective. In my case, I focus in showing what they don't want to see or what they don't want to hear, that they're still holding on to, that is holding them back from to getting from to where they want to go. I'd like to show that from a perspective of love, caring, compassion, so that when they enter the drama of that which they're holding on to, it's more of a discovery to them than entering and dealing with the limitations that they thought they had.
Mhm.
Because the truth, what I found out is that nothing is ever wrong with no one. We tend to feel that there's something wrong with us. And the reality is that there's nothing wrong with anyone out there. It's just the perspective that you have
Right.
about what you feel is wrong with you. But it's actually that which you think is limiting you, that if you transform the perspective of it, can help you thrive to where you want to go. That's why you're paying so much attention to it and holding it so much, and it's coming back to your attention because the clue is right there. It's just the perspective that you have of it and that you're holding on to that belongs to the past, right? And you think it should be the same now in the present, and every time you try to apply it, it doesn't work because you need to control everything in front of you, then you
Right.
get stuck. So is just being able to be present so that my client is able to listen to himself through the perspectives that I can bring, that are basically just throwing back exactly what he told me or he or she told me, but from a different perspective. And then it's like, boom, there's a discovery, right? And that is so
Reframing,
magical.
helping them reframe their perspective.
Mhm. I
Mhm.
think that is the basic part of it. I mean, there's much more to it, but the basic mindset with which I start coaching is becoming first fully present, right? Then understanding that I know nothing that I think I know, right? And
Yeah.
then just becoming a mirror of my client so
Mhm.
that he can see whatever he doesn't want to see, listen to whatever he doesn't want to listen, and get to where he wants to go because he's the real expert of his life,
Right. Right.
right? Along that, there's a lot of techniques and coaching methods that help get there. But I think
Right.
that is like the basic structure of it.
Right. Because as coaches, we have to believe that the client have the answers within themselves. It just help them to connect to that, to themselves, helping them, guiding them to find the answers within themselves. Right. That's the perspective
Exactly.
that we want to bring. We don't want to bring the perspective of, oh, I know everything, I'll tell you ABC what to do, and then you'll be out of it.
Exactly. And
Right.
sometimes that is the expectation, right? Some clients just show up and say, okay, so you promised me that you're going to give me this outcome, right?
Right. Right.
And that's such a dangerous place right now in the coaching fields. There's so many coaches out there right now that see the opportunity in the business of coaching and are promising outrageous outcomes, which is really cool if they can deliver,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm. What do you think is the danger there with promising? Because
That
our word go to like fast. People want fast results, and that's what attracts them. So what do you think the danger
what I
is?
promise is what I promise my clients is that I will provide them with the tools, techniques, and strategies, right? And my presence and all of the abilities that are available that I have developed over skills and abilities that I have developed over my career at their disposition. But the work and the outcome is completely up to them.
Hmm.
What I
Hmm.
can show as proof that it works is it has worked in the past 20 years with my clients. So I can confidently say, if you do the work, you'll get your outcome,
Right.
right?
So the outcome. So we as coaches, our responsibility is to do the best we can, but we can't really promise results because there is a part that the client need to do, and
The
that
result
it's
is
out of
entirely up
our
to the
reach.
client.
Right.
The
Right.
result, I believe, yeah, the result is entirely up to the client. Up to us is creating the relationship, holding the space, for a client to be able to find within what is the path. This morning I started with a new client. It was beautiful because I set up I set a perspective that was great. It was saying, imagine we're going to go on a journey and we're going to climb a mountain, right? I'm going to start guiding you in the mountain, right? And I'm going to bring with me a backpack full of tools, strategies, and techniques. As we go through the mountain, I'm going to start passing those tools, strategies, and techniques into your backpack so that when we're in the middle of the mountain, you are the one that's going to be half leading me and I'll be half leading you. But by the time we get to the top of the mountain, you'll be the leader of me and I'll be just there watching your back.
Hmm. Hmm.
And if we get to that point where we as coaches, we're just watching the back of our clients, right? And being able to show perspective so they get to where they want to go, I think that's what makes it really successful.
Right. But I'll tell you how I see it. Like, yeah, there is our responsibility and there is their responsibility. But I think when we can always do things better. We can always improve as coaches. And I think that when we say, okay, that was his responsibility, rather than looking at ourselves, of course, not from a place of blame, oh, it's because of me, but from a place of what did I do here that he didn't get the results, from a place of, okay, like, what is my responsibility? Maybe I didn't help him to move him into action at the beginning. I should do more mindset. I should have an agreement at the beginning to have them more accountable. So where do you see this responsibility of ours? Because also one of my points of view about life is that I'm responsible for everything that happens in my life, and that way I'm able to change it.
Fantastic. I think what you just mentioned is so important, because as coaches and we're able to develop the relationship with our clients, right? It's up to us to be able to push the necessary buttons in the right time, right? And show the perspectives in the right time so that our client is able to actually look at that which he doesn't want to look, or hear that which he doesn't want to hear, to be able to move forward, right? And that is accountability and responsibility. I've developed a different concept of responsibility over the years that has helped me and my clients really get over the board to whatever we set forward, right? And one is that the matiz, or the way that the relationship works, is a two-way street. I am able to reach out to my client at any moment, and my client is able to reach back at me at any moment. We're creating a relationship, and it's a two-way relationship. That's number one. Two, responsibility is not something that we carry upon our backs and that weighs, like you have to do. No, responsibility is the ability to respond. And because it's an ability, something you practice. So if you give and you provide the tools, the strategies, the techniques, and the perspective that your client is looking for and needs, right, then is a shared responsibility where you are developing as a coach your ability to respond to the relationship that you have with your client, and your client is developing his ability to respond for that which he wants in life.
Mhm.
So long as that ability to respond is shared and we're both growing as we go forward, I'm growing to learn how to get to know more my client so that I know exactly how to support him when he needs it the most, right? And he's growing to know himself more and how to become resourceful to be able to go forth and achieve what he wants in life.
Mhm.
Having a coach is just basically not about being alone, having somewhere and someone that you can completely be open to, vulnerable completely, right? And know that they have your back.
Right, right, right. Cool. So why don't you tell us who you are, and
Okay.
then I can introduce myself, and then we can, dive and talk about, the things that we came here to speak about, which is the challenges that new
That we
coach,
face as coaches, yes.
yeah, the new coach will face, an experienced coach will face as well.
Okay. So,
So
well,
tell us who you are
my
with the
name is
sexy
Alan
voice.
Phillips. I am an emotional resilience, intuitive intelligence, and relational energetics coach, mentor, organizational trainer. I've and father, husband, and 44-year-old kid, basically. um, I basically help my clients live a life which creates a present that builds a past worth remembering and creates a future worth living for. What that means is I help my clients recover their personal power and heal so that they can start living the life that they have always dreamed about. Transforming the perspective that they have from themselves from the past, that it was holding them back probably, and becoming able to respond for the future that they want to create. But that only happens if they become fully present. The word for that is now going everywhere, all over the place is like flow, enter into flow, right?
Right, right.
So I could say that my specialty is helping my clients live a life of flow, but not only for precise moments, always. Become kids with however many years they have of wisdom. That's why I say I'm a 44-year-old kid, right? I'm
Right.
5 years old with 39 years of experience that are not experience, that are wisdom that I apply to my everyday because I become curious, I become creative, and I engage passionately with what I do, just like kids.
Nice.
So I help pretty much people that are going through overwhelm, stress, anxiety, right? And that are getting or that feel stuck with that are having problems in their personal and professional relationships, right? And recently, I have started working a lot also with coaches, and the amazing results that the coaches that are working with me are getting have to do a lot with developing the abilities that I'm an expert with for the past 20 years, which is emotional resilience, intuitive intelligence, and relational energetics. As the coaches that are working with me are able to develop those, they're able to understand their inner voice and become the best coach they can. Because I believe a coach has two mindsets, right? The mindset of becoming a coach and then the mindset of running the business of a coach. And they're two different things, right? Because we are so passionate about helping, right? That then when it comes about helping ourselves, we also need a coach. But
Hmm.
we tend to forget that because as coaches, we want to say that we know, right?
Right.
And I think that is going back to the topic. I think that is the biggest challenge that any coach has, accepting
Yeah.
that we don't know,
Right.
that we
Yeah.
can reach out to another coach and be coached.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
I
I see
agree.
Michal there. Hello, Michal. If you're looking, thank you so much for your comment. Flow is real. Yes.
How come I don't see those comments?
It says,
I
I
mean,
have worked with Alan Phillips. Flow is real. I live in it.
now I
I
see
know
it.
how to access it at any moment. That's right. I work with Michal Lebaron. She's a fantastic coach and healer. And she's able now to live every single moment of her life in continuous flow.
That's just one testimonial. I can test that I started to work with you as well, and it's been amazing. It's been so exciting, and learned so much wisdom. Every conversation with you, I just need to write millions of notes and just learned so much. Yeah, I call you. I have a couple of words to describe you, but I call you the emotional wizard. But now I will call you the perspective wizard. You know.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Um,
It's really an honor. It's really, really an honor to be able. I learn so much from every person that I work with. And now that I'm working with coaches and I'm sharing all my expertise so that they can have them as well with their clients and give those outcomes, I feel like I'm so honored because I'm learning so much as well, and I just feel the responsibility to give back all everything that I'm learning from every coach to every coach that I get to work with. So I'm always bringing new stuff into the table because of all the experiences that I'm gaining, and that's a big value that I can bring to the table, right?
Right. Yeah. And experience. So we talked about challenges that new coaches go through. I
Yeah.
think one of
Well,
them
first of all, tell us who
is
you are,
that.
who you
Yeah,
serve, what you do. Come
of
on.
course. So my name is Matan Mizrahi. I help people with worry and anxiety, people that struggling with worry and anxiety. Through my journey of overcoming worry and anxiety, that's how I learned to overcome it. And now, like seeing how painful it is, I felt a sense of a responsibility to share it with the world and share it with as many chronic warriors as possible. And that's what I do now. I am more in the beginning phase of coaching. And so to me, I face the challenges and that are different than yours. So we all have different challenges. You have yours as experience, and I have one, mine as new coach. But yeah, it's been a great journey. I believe that our business is really a reflection, like looking in the mirror. We always learn, and as you said, we always got to be open to learn new things, new understanding. When you're in trouble, when you say I know, because then you will never learn, you will never open up to learn more and grow more and more. And I think especially in the beginning stages, it's super critical to have someone that believe in you. um, to me, I'm my own biggest asset. So to me, investing in anything that requires help me believe in myself, having a coach, having to learn more skills that I need to learn to need to develop in order to grow myself. Because a lot of people, on what they do, they invest in other things. They invest in their business before they're invested in themselves. To me, investing in your business is investing in your business. Investing in your marriage is investing in your marriage. It's not investing in yourself. Investing in yourself are in myself are the things that help me develop my belief in myself, develop to grow my wisdom, to have more power, to feel more powerful, so I can impact more people. And yeah, to me, that's critical. Also really like searching for the knowledge, searching for the wisdom. You know me for a year now, and you know that I'm really hungry on getting the wisdom, because God gave us gifts. But if we don't open the gift, if we don't look for the people to search for the knowledge, if we don't like search and search and search to really find this knowledge and expose our subconscious mind, our eyes, our mind. You read the vision, you put the pictures in front of you. I have one right here. This is my dream car that I put in front of me in my desk. And so it's doing all of that. And I think what keeps, like, in religion, they tell people to act and do things all the time, right? Like you have to do the daily action. Why? Because the daily actions are the one that keep the belief. So you always have to keep doing things, always, even if you don't feel good, even if you don't have the belief,
Well,
keep doing them. Because
whatever you're looking for is always outside of your comfort.
right, yeah, yeah, it's never comfortable doing what I'm doing right now. It's not comfortable, but I'm excited about that, about being uncomfortable. This is probably the best thing. People go to coaches, go to therapies. This is probably one of the most important thing, to put yourself in spots that are uncomfortable. That's the only place when we can grow, and really get to where we want to be. And to me, when I feel uncomfortableness, it's like go time. It's not stop time. It's like, oh yeah, that's amazing.
It's look at it this way: we get uncomfortable, right? Because we're stepping into something that we don't know. But
Right.
that's just a perspective. When you go on vacation and you start in you're in a different place that you don't know, you're also stepping into some place that you don't know. So
Right.
what is the difference between stepping into the unknown in one scenario and the other one? What you're feeling inside of you. You're feeling uncertainty maybe because you make in one you make it about you, and in the other one you make it about the vacation.
Right.
So if you make it about the vacation, you're completely available to discover whatever is new. But
Right.
if you make it
Right.
about yourself, right? And so many coaches make it about themselves, right? that they're comparing to everything that they're facing that they don't know. And that drives, that could drive anyone, even me, and every person out there, every single human being. Every time we face an unknown, we have the option. And that is the biggest challenge because we're always jumping from the purpose of what we're doing or our competence to accomplish it, right? So when we make it about ourselves is when it becomes uncomfortable, when it becomes hard, when the energy to be able to fulfill whatever we're going through comes from within ourselves. So we get even tired and we end up even burnt out. But
Right.
then when we find ourselves in complete service and purpose, like when you go on vacation, right? Mhm. You believe in yourself that you are safe and you'll be able to handle anything because you understand it's an adventure.
Right.
So
Right.
what if you could just understand that life is an adventure and it's a game in which you can engage and have fun, right?
Right.
But still like that, and as an experienced coach and 20 years into it, I still at many things, every time I face a new task, right? Go through a problem of first making it about me.
Yeah.
Like I still have a lot of trouble, Matan, and right now, like the new coaching industry has to do a lot with talking into a camera.
Right.
I still can't talk alone in front of a camera. If I don't have you in front of me, I have no clue what to say. I blank out.
Yeah, that's
You know,
beautiful. You're saying it. It's
because I
you
make it
know,
about me, and I haven't found a way to not make it about me because I'm just talking to a camera. I'm like, who's listening out there? Who do I connect with?
So, Alan, tell us about, you know, uh, we said we're going to talk about two specific one because we don't have a lot of time, but tell us about, the two biggest challenges you're facing as a coach, as experienced coach. You've been doing it for 20, 25 years,
Mhm.
um, and how you overcome them.
Um, the first biggest challenge that I faced, I think, came with COVID, right? The digitalization of the coaching industry, understanding that now we had to start marketing coaching, right? Because for me, coaching before was all about referrals.
Right.
My clients referred new clients to me, etc. And then everyone started to niche down and to make it very specific because the platform in which we're all now getting clients from, right, is social media that we're reaching out. So in order to address the platform, I was told, okay, you need to niche down. I was like, how do I niche down?
What do you mean niche down?
Yeah, you have to niche like a
Oh, okay. Have
person
a
that you're going to
specific
serve
niche
in a specific problem that you're going to solve. I was like, I've been coaching,
strategy
I've
for
been
your marketing strategy.
marketing strategy and having the buyer persona precise, right?
Right, right,
That
right.
was really hard for me because after 20 years of coaching, I said, do I have to really choose? I mean, I love serving, and what I do, I believe it serves everyone. But then, yeah, I'm making it about myself and I'm stuck in front of me. So I know that's something that still sometimes I face, the ability to completely niche down. So I am working on it and letting it flow and naturally attracting the market that I serve. And naturally, I've been helping a lot of single, divorced, and widowed women that want to be able to heal from emotional pain of the past relationships and move forward to a fulfilling life. And if they so desire, attract the love of their life. It's a wonderful program with very good outcomes. And the other one that I have been attracting right now is the coaches. And it's really fantastic to see how, well, entrepreneurs, of course, business people and entrepreneurs. That's always been people that are attracted to me, people that are starting something new most of the times, and or that are going through hardships in their business. And now coaches. So I think the problem is starting to narrow down now by itself, but it's because I allow myself to put myself in purpose. But before I struggled with it for a long time, for a long, long time. So I think that's one of the things. And I've talked to other coaches as well that have been in the field for a long time, and that's definitely something that we're facing that's difficult, together with the technology as well.
Sorry.
together with handling the technology, you
Oh,
know,
so tell me about that exactly, about
handling
handling
the technology.
and how you overcame it or overcoming.
I'm still overcoming
Yeah,
it. There's so much about I so much about the technology that I don't understand. So that's the other mindset that I've worked with, right? Which is to expand as a business, right? You can't do it all on your own. I think the biggest challenge that coaches are facing right now is especially experienced coaches that used to have a practice of one person because people would come to their place of work and they would give the sessions and that's it.
right.
Now need to create a team, and a team that actually works together and drives the business forwards because there's so many other technicalities that you need an expert at. And you can't believe that you're an expert at everything that you're doing. Just because you're a coach doesn't mean that you can become an expert at everything that you're doing. You're also a human being.
How old are you, Alan, if you don't mind me asking?
44.
44. So to me, even to me, like I do stuff right now with the online that I'm like, ooh, oh my God, I've never done that before. And I know young kids probably can do those things even better than me. They know, they live with that, right? So how are you in 44, face those and what kind of challenges exactly and what do
Okay.
you do to
I
overcome?
I was facing a very, very big challenge because I was afraid I was going to do wrong things and I was going to invest money and lose it. And then I jumped back into my beginner's mind, you know, and I said, okay, it's a journey. I have to step into it and enjoy it somehow. And I'll make mistakes and I'll learn from those mistakes, but they won't be mistakes because they'll bring opportunities, right?
Yeah.
So I've been dealing with that as I go. But of course, there's so much other expertise that are required there that I have started to reach out and create a team, which
Yeah.
is really necessary at the end of the day because you are only an expertise and you. There's a rule that's called the 20-80%. A lot of people use this rule, but for their own performance in planning and performing. But you can also use this rule when you manage a team. Focus on your expertise that becomes a 20%
Right.
of all of the performance of your team. And then find those other 20% of other people that are experienced and are experts in what they do to fulfill whatever it is that you want to fulfill in your business. So that was another challenge that I was facing and I'm starting to walk out of. I think that's also part of the first challenge. The second most challenging thing that I'm facing right now is being able to promote myself with video.
Right. Right.
If I'm in an interview with you, I have no problem. But if I face the camera and I have to talk, I completely black out.
Really, yeah. It's
Yes.
crazy.
And
Do you think it has to do
in the
with
coaching,
confidence and belief?
I guess so. Definitely. It's something that I have to work with. But yeah, going back into the coaching challenge, I think, and I believe that right now my biggest challenge is being able to learn exactly that. How am I going to face this camera? Yeah, knowing that I don't know who's going to look at it, right? And feeling confident to talk just like I do whenever I'm in front of someone.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Well, like going live by yourself is a whole different story, right? It's you gotta maybe powerpoints and show something. It's not come up with notes and know how to talk about specific subject. But I think as coaches, as people, someone who is resourceful, we gotta find ways around. It's not always gonna be this way. It's gonna be you go around, right? And that's what you do here. We do it together. I enjoy it a lot. I'm super honored and grateful to do it with you. So I think this is a great way to overcome this challenge.
Exactly. So it's a way to start getting used to it.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Definitely.
yeah, yeah.
And
Yeah.
the other challenge right now that I'm facing, but I'm actually happy for that challenge, right, is learning as much as I can on a new perspective of all the expertise that I have been building throughout the years, which is how to manifest it more from a spiritual point of view. You see, in my personal story, about 13 years ago, I faced a really, really difficult moment, right? And that's when I created the system that I'm now sharing and coaching that has to do with emotional resilience, intuitive intelligence, and relational energetics. But before I got into that problem, right, I was still using those three, but I was using them instead of using it from the heart and the relationality of the heart and how to connect with everyone. I believed I was almighty, right? So I was using it from my ego. And that's what drove me to the big problem that I had to
Hmm,
bring myself out of, right?
right.
Now I'm reaching that point again where I'm feeling as powerful as I was before. In relational energetics, I'm able now to feel again the living field of things that happens around me. I'm able to connect with my clients on a complete another level and understand their feelings and their emotions. And I'm able to intuitively really, really connect with what is the next step when I'm coaching and also in my life. So I feel really amazing right now, and I'm doing it from a relationality point of view, from my heart. So the big challenge now, right, is letting go of the past as it happened before and going forward this threshold. I'm excited about it, and it's like, okay, that's the next step. So I'm excited about it and what's going to happen and how it's going to handle it. And so far, so good going forward.
Yeah.
What about
Well,
you, Matan? What are you facing right now that you think is like your biggest challenge?
yeah, and I want to kind of ask you, as someone who been around for a bit, because my challenge again, I think it's confidence and self belief, and as a coach who just starting and believing in themselves that what they have to offer is actually valuable. I know that what I have is valuable, but to start with, it's like airplane when it starts going up needs a lot of energy, a lot of energy, and I I solve it in I work with coaches and other people who believe in me more than I can believe in myself, right? That's how I solve it. And always learning, always growing. But I want to ask your perspective about that, and what do you recommend maybe to new coaches who listen to that right now?
Sure. Thank you for asking. You see, belief, the structure of belief lies in meaning. You only believe in what has a meaning to you, right? So, whatever the perspective that you're taking on as you're going forward on the disbelief or on what you're having self doubt on, there's a meaning behind it, and you're believing in that meaning, right? So, there's two ways to go forward about this. One way is like peeling an onion, because there's a layer and another layer and another layer of that belief, so that we can get to the core belief of what is precisely that's holding you back from believing fully in yourself to be able to deliver yourself as a coach, right? And believing in your full potential. And the other way to go about it is by developing your ability to believe in what you feel. See, so many people out there believing what they think, believing what they can see, believing the knowledge that they can acquire, and they believe that they have to prepare themselves continuously to be capable and able. And the last thing that they believe in is what they feel, because they're still feeling from a limited place what they don't want, or they're choosing what they want, they're choosing what they need, and they're choosing what they desire from a place that is the response or the reactive response to what they don't want, what they need, or what they don't desire. When that happens, as you go forward, your attention is divided. and your feelings are then contradicted and conflicted. So you're debating yourself between, am I capable or not? Do I believe in this, what I'm doing or not? Because you're choosing from the limited perspective of what you don't want, what you don't need, sorry, what you need or what you don't desire. And you can't create anything from what you need because it's not there. If you create something from what you don't want, you're paying attention precisely to what you don't want, so that feeling is present.
Yeah.
The way to go around that is to be able to develop your ability to get in touch with your intuitive intelligence, with your feelings, so that you can start to give meaning to what you really, really desire to achieve as a coach. Like if I asked you right now, okay, if everything was possible and available for you, Matan, right?
Right.
Imagine what would be the best outcome you could have as a coach. Like everything is available and possible, and you're this great coach. You're like outstanding. What would that be like? Just close your eyes and imagine it.
Oh, I've been thinking about it a lot. It's a
No, but
question.
right now, don't think. Imagine. That's the
Imagine
key. You
it
want to
will
be able
be
to imagine it because if you imagine it, you'll be able to feel it.
right.
And
Right.
then what you can trust is that feeling.
Mm,
As you go forward, if your full focus of meaning and attention is in that feeling and how that end outcome feels, then all the doors and the energy that is available and possible for you will open. That's the only thing you can trust. Look at it this way. Can you trust someone else fully if you focus on them? Of
no.
course not. But how can you trust someone else fully? By trusting yourself in front of someone else.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
to trust yourself, you can trust in what you feel. And you
Right.
also can create what you desire to feel.
Hmm. You know what? I
I don't know
wanna.
if that answers your question.
Yeah, it does, and I think it helps other people too. Can help. I want to ask you another question about that because a lot of people, and practices and coaches that we know talk a lot about mindset, and mindset is doing the daily affirmation and imagination. How critical you think those things are to succeed in coaching and in anything in life?
Mindset is the basis of everything because it's a perspective that you use to put your energy into whatever it is that you're doing.
Mm.
So, correct mindset and a well prepared mindset will definitely take you to where you want to go. A lot of people forget that mindset, right, is not only about the mind or your what you think. That you have to feel, you have to bring in what you feel. And what I faced, for example, with a lot of my clients that are high performing, for example, high performance entrepreneurs, right? They grind through things, literally. They hustle, they grind, they go forward at all, but then they burn out. And they're always working in their mindset. And they have the right mindset to tackle whatever is coming in front of them, but they end up burned out. Reason being, they know what they want very clearly. They're able to plan it. They have all the tools to be able to plan, perform. They manage their time, they manage their money correctly, right? But, right, they believe they have to hustle, they believe they have to grind. And what that is creating is a lot of energy depletion because holding emotions like hustling, like grinding, like how do you say, like um, frustration. You believe that you have to hit frustration in order to overcome, right? And the harder it gets, that's when you have to hit the hardest to get to the other point.
Right.
Well, the big problem with that is that the energy that is available to you when you're there is only yours. So you will always end up burned out.
Yeah.
You will end up, even if you have emotional resilience tools at that moment, you'll end up burned out because you'll have to be charging and recharging and recharging and recharging yourself over and over and over again because you're working with your own energy. So part of mindset, I call it, should also be partly heart set. And that should be the source of the mindset. That is, if I were to perform through this mindset, what would I feel? And does what I feel, what I desire to feel, align with that? That happens a lot when people are doing, for example, a business plan, right? Their ego jumps in and looks at what's interests them and what's in the best interest of the business. But they forget what's in the best interest of what they desire. So they get to the top, right? After burnout and burnout and burnout, but they finally get to the top and they're not satisfied. Or midway, they let go because it was never about what they feel what they're doing. Or they probably visualize, this is another scenario that I see a lot. They visualize exactly what their lifestyle would be once they're performing at their best, right? And then when you start performing, it's completely the contrary. They're solving problem after problem after problem after problem. You know, they're like, well, what is that I was looking? Where is that outcome that I dreamed about if I did this? And they're only focusing in creating the mindset, but they're not focusing in feeling it. Therefore, they're bringing knowledge and trying to manipulate and control the present instead of being in the present. The answer to that is wisdom. It's a mixture of imagination and knowledge by becoming fully present.
Mhm. And I believe, like, yeah, it seems like a lot of people they're here, um, and you can go so far when you're here, and I think your outcomes are not pure, um, and the results are not satisfying when you get them. It can be money, you can be rich, but it's not satisfying. It's not fulfilling. And wisdom, there's so much knowledge out there. I don't know if you heard, Alan, about this robot. There's a boot that you can ask him anything. You can ask him, write me a book about emotions. He can write you a book in like few
Wow.
minutes. Yeah, it's something crazy. But that just to say, there's so much knowledge out there. It's everywhere, but there's no wisdom. And I think that's what we're after, wisdom. That's like, it's like the 80/20 is like the 20% that create the 80%.
Wisdom is a mixture of uh, um, imagination and knowledge. Einstein said it best. He said, knowledge is limited. And it's limited because it's already being created, it belongs to the past. And the reality is that no exact event will ever repeat itself. So every moment in the present is different than the past, where that knowledge was created, right?
Yeah.
So when we try to bring knowledge into the present, we tend to control the present, strategize about the present, manipulate, coerce others into doing the things the way we want them to do it, etc. And that's where our attention goes instead of unfulfilling our vision. And that's what limits us because we're only
Mm,
working on knowledge. Now,
mm,
if you feel that you're not competent enough, if you feel that you don't have enough confidence in yourself to go forward, it's only because you're focusing in knowledge. And
mm,
how much knowledge do you really have to approach whatever it is that you want to fulfill? But if you open the door to what Einstein said, that said, imagination is unlimited and it encircles the universe, then that's what you want to tap into. And as you're imagining something, you want to then bring knowledge so that knowledge becomes wisdom through the imagination of how can you adapt it to the circumstances of the present, acknowledging what is happening in the present, not
yeah.
destroying what is happening in the present to create what knowledge brings you from the past. That's usually why people go in loops and loops and loops and loops in their lives. And they repeat things that they say, why do I always get the same kind of boyfriend or girlfriend? Why do I always get the same kind of boss? Why? Well, you're working on knowledge, not creating. The immense ability of any human being is to co create. And when we co create, it's fantastic. You know which are the wisest people I know? that are co-creating all day long?
No.
They're the little guys, very little guys, the kids.
And oh,
Kids. They're always imagining. They see a car, they imagine themselves driving the car, and they're practicing how would they drive the car.
yeah,
They're creating a new reality all the time. They're
yeah,
they are completely curious. They're creative and they're passionate. That's the best cocktail that you could have for anything because you're going to be fully in the present. Now, they lack probably the knowledge, but they're extremely wise. If we were able to continue as kids learning in the same way they do when they're fresh, right? Would be
yeah,
able to do the same. But now I can imagine what it would be like to drive my business to where I'm going. And as I imagine, I'm co creating because I am looking to what I know will show up. What I want to create will show up, but I will always acknowledge what is happening. Now,
mhm,
bind those two together to create something new. And then it's elation. You're like, wow,
yeah,
everything is new. It's like a vacation.
yeah, yeah. Well, it's pretty cool. Like what you said is like fascinating. You're so right, and I think it's one of the paradoxes of life. It's like we're kids. We're like we're empty cup, like no knowledge, nothing, and we can imagine wildly, like literally. Like I had imagination. They're so clear, so precise, so like out there, and then we grow our life. We have the experiences that we had life. We have our fears, experiences, and then we slowly, like the ability for us to believe that what we think is might be true, believe in ourselves, all of it gets reduced. And now at this stage when our ego is developed and we know how powerful it is, now we need to overcome all of that, like let it go and find a way to use that imagination and bring the kids in us, the child in us, to create what we want. So it's paradox.
It's paradoxical because sorry, we look at knowledge as lessons, and we then generate every lesson we learn in life. If we generalize it, right, we're doomed to recreate it. Like for example, if when I was 17 years old I got my first heart broken, right? If at that moment I would have said to myself, any woman out there can break my heart, and that is a general lesson that I now learn. Every time I would approach a woman, I'd be fearful. And because of my fear, I would probably make that woman insecure about being with me, and she would end up breaking my heart. But
Mm,
I'm the one that's provoking it because
right,
of my own fear, because of the lesson that I'm taking information from my past.
right.
So, what if there was no lessons? There was just experience. And then you can go back into your experience and validate what's happening, who you are with. Not don't generalize about that person. Don't put a general identity into whatever it is that you're doing. Validate and experience the uniqueness of everyone and everything in front of you. You'll get the
That's
keys and the clues to engage fully and do whatever it is that you want.
right.
So long as we're looking to the past, well, we're only looking at a fraction of what's in front of us because the past is like using a pair of shades through which we are interpreting and judging what's happening in the present.
Do
So
you
we're
believe we
only
should
looking at
we
a
should
partial part of
fully
it.
we
Excuse
should
me?
fully let go of the past?
No.
We should not take the good from it, the lessons from it, or we should
Get
just let it go.
inspiration.
Inspiration.
Inspire yourself from the past.
Mm,
Inspire yourself from the stories that have happened in your life. Find perspective about the lessons that you've learned that will inspire you to create what you want. But don't generalize them because then you're pretty much recreating them over and over again.
right, right,
And you won't be able to because the present
right.
is ongoing, ever changing. It's not stay the past. What happens is that the lessons, right, stay there. They're not moving. and the present is ever changing. So how do you bring something that is fixed into something that is ever changing all the time? You have to try to control it. And while you try to control it, you're destroying yourself and everything in your path.
Right, right, right.
So
So
don't make
before
it about
we,
you.
yeah, sorry, go.
Inspire yourself from your own stories, right?
What do you mean
Find
by
perspectives
inspired?
of what happened. Excuse me?
What do you mean by inspired? If you
Yes.
can be a little bit more precise just before we end. Um,
There's one thing that John, thank you so much. I see your message. It's great to see you. Great that you're here. Um, I think it's Tony Robbins that said this, and it's amazing the way he puts it. If you're going to blame someone from your past because he or she created something in your life that was negative to you, then also blame them with the same strength, but for the good that they created in you. You see, I blamed my dad, right? That he was probably not there every time I wanted him to be. And I blamed him. I really, really blamed him because I wanted him to be there at all my football games, right? And he couldn't be there. But I would see the parents of the other kids that their father was there. So for a long time, I held on to that past as something that was bad about me that I would never be able to connect because I was so angry at it. But then I decided to blame my dad as well. That it's because he was not there, and I knew that he was not going to be there, that I could focus 100% in the game, and I was so successful. Of course, there's the feeling at the end that I would have loved for him to watch me play, but it also gave me a sense of independence in not needing him to be able to perform the way I wanted. So there's a good thing. There's always a positive side to the negative. When your subconscious creates an adapting mechanism or a defense mechanism so that you can adapt to whatever circumstance, you will use that mechanism to create skills that develop everything that you do.
mhm,
That is so much light. You become an expert in your life because of all those circumstances,
mhm,
right?
mhm, mhm.
Although that is still a linear way of looking at it, because if you look at it from your intuitive intelligence, then you're able to pick the perspectives and transform them in relational energetics and how they relate to your present life. But
Mhm.
that's more complex
Yeah.
to explain. It's more to
So
do with experience than explained.
yeah, I think that's like a great finale to what we did. Um, and yeah, it's been really really good. We're almost done. It's I know the time passed very very fast.
So
It's
flies.
been really fun. So if people want to look for you and want to learn from you and work with you, which I highly recommend, where they can do that or how.
Uh, there's my website is www.alainphillips, Alan Phillips, just like my name is right there.
Right,
Just www.alanphillips.com. They can
right.
reach out. There's one question that says, why do some people are able to turn their pain into lessons? Because they don't want to experience that pain anymore. So they believe that if they hold on to the lesson, they won't experience the pain again. And because they generalize that lesson, yes, is because that's the reason why they keep on repeating circumstances that then turn into situations that recreate that pain, but from a different situation or circumstance in their lives at another time of their lives. I hope that answers your question. It says no name, just Facebook user. So, Matan, I do have a question for you. I know we're running out of time, but maybe we can go over a few minutes.
Yeah, go ahead.
What is the most exciting thing for you as a new coach in these times? Like, what is so exciting for you about becoming a coach and about coaching people right now in your career as you're entering? You've been doing it now for 1 year. Before that, you were doing it a little bit as well. But
Right.
now that you're entering this, I did it so long ago, right? So different from me now.
Right.
What is it that's driving you? What is it that makes you a great coach? Even you're new, yes, to the coaching industry. What makes you a great coach? Because you are a great coach, and new coaches are also as powerful and as great as experienced coaches.
Right.
Because coaching is something that we connect to. So if you could share with us, that would be
I think the values that a coach go with or have, like the perspective about why I do it, like my why is like having impact on people, and I think every coach should have a why that it's about other people. Like if you don't have that, you're not you're in the wrong business. You're not doing it for the right way, right reasons. It's got to be about wanting to better someone others people lives. And so with that in mind, I think that's a very powerful perspective. It's, as you said, like connecting to the heart, like bringing the heart to the table, not just the head, because it's not just about ourselves, it's about the all of us, humanity as a whole. And with that perspective comes commitment to what I do, and I know for you as well, to overcome every challenge that comes up, learning, growing, looking, look in the mirror and ask yourself, did I was I better this day than the day before? And it's the growth. Like it's you have to fall in love with the growth and learning, being hunger to learn more and more. So to me, this is honestly the most important thing, the most exciting thing. Um, if we focus on the results always, like the money and how much money I made, we're losing the point. The point is really the growth. The point is really the human being that you become, with growing and being better. And so to me, that's the most important thing, 100%. And what I love, what excites me, seeing myself growing every day, getting better and better every day, looking in the mirror, knowing I grow and I'm better.
that's fantastic. That is fantastic because that is the beginner's mindset that is so required in every coach all the time, all the
Right, 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 right. Oops, nothing in my cup.
time.
So
Nathan,
Alan,
thank
yeah,
you so
sorry.
much for holding the space and for asking so many questions and allowing me to answer fully.
Yeah, that was really
Thank you
fun.
for sharing also your points of view on it. They're so valuable, and I believe you're a great coach.
Thank you.
I do believe you're a great coach. I do believe that you bring that spark to your clients that they're looking for, so that they can look at themselves and find all the potential that they have as well. And keeping yourself humble like you do is fantastic. I think that is the best way to approach what you're doing. So congratulations on that too.
Thank you so much. So thank you again for sharing all your wisdom with all of us. The incredible wisdom, the 25 years of experience that you lived and experienced. So thank you so much for joining us. And yeah, hopefully we can do more of this, share the wisdom. I really enjoyed it. So thank you so much, and have a good night.
Thank you, Matan. Thank you. Good care, you guys.
Bye,
Everyone's here.
everyone.
Thank you so much for connecting. And whoever looks at this later on, enjoy.
Yes, there's a lot of diamonds here. Bye.
Take care. Bye bye.